It doesn't matter whether or not you love or hate it, Valorant is probably one of, if not, the most infamous esports shooter to ever come out. It has a very high skill ceiling, especially when it comes to gunplay, which is why it was very surprising to see it come to consoles and feature no keyboard and mouse support. However, I believe that's a very small price to pay, because otherwise, this is probably the best console port of a PC game to ever come out. For example, graphically, it looks great. From eyeing it, looks like it's running on max settings, 4K, and it keeps a consistent 120 frames per second without any hitches or stuttering. Maybe dropping to 119 in the worst case scenario, but otherwise I can't really tell. Secondly, the default control scheme and sensitivity, chef's kiss. I have felt no need to change anything for the past few weeks I've been playing. It's that good. On top of that, Vanguard is on console, or their AntiCheat, that's also pretty infamous, and it's pretty good. If someone is detected using a keyboard and mouse via a USB accessory that allows them to do so, they'll get flagged and kicked from the game pretty quickly. Yes, it's good to be able to use whatever input method you want. However, in a competitive esports shooter where what you use to play, even down if you have it installed on a fast enough SSD, matters greatly, I think it's perfectly fine. Your progress on PC Valorant and console Valorant is also synced, so you can swap between them at any time and pick up where you left off. There is, however, no crossplay between PC and console Valorant, for obvious reasons. However, both versions are pretty much the same content and gameplay wise, except for a few new additions that were added to console Valorant. For example, there is a brand new main menu that is tailored for use with a controller. There is also a new focus mode, which allows you to easily do micro adjustments, or small adjustments of your aim so you can hit your shot, which would otherwise be a bit difficult in the default hipfire sensitivity. For example, let's say there's a guy who keeps crouching up and down, but you might go a little too far up and a little too far down with the default hipfire sensitivity. So what you can do is activate focus mode, and you can pretty much guarantee you can actually hit his head. There is also some more tips and tutorials to help out new players, especially those who aren't used to competitive shooters, for example, console players. Now, I do have a few nitpicks with this version. For example, if you have an 120Hz monitor, you are forced to play on 120Hz. Now, for a lot of people, this isn't really an issue, that's why I said a nitpick, because maybe I just want to try out 60 FPS. There is also no option to turn off VSync, which on paper, for a lot of people, doesn't really matter too much, but for competitive players, turning it off would allow for less input lag, which does matter in a game like Valorant, with the only real downside being screen tearing, which wouldn't really affect your gameplay much, if at all, but for some people that does matter. Now, I really do recommend that you give this version of Valorant a shot. It is just that authentic to the PC version, to where it's really just like, why didn't they do this at launch? You can either wait until July 14th when the game officially launches, or sign up for the beta, which I'll have linked down in the description. Because honestly, for one of their first in-house console games, Riot really delivered. And I wouldn't be surprised if League of Legends got a console port one day as well, though we'll have to wait and see. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.